What's going on, everyone? Happy Sunday. Hopefully everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy, having a great day so far, but most importantly, testing negative for all those viruses that can make us sick. It is time now for the Sunday edition of the Virus Update for Sunday, October 5th, 2025. If you are new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where I do the daily virus update on all those viruses that can make us sick, giving you the latest news, data, and today is Sunday, which means Wastewater Sunday. Yes, we're going to be taking a look at wastewater and other things here on the channel. Want to stay informed with these viruses that can make you sick? COVID, flu, influenza. Hey, norovirus is starting to make its rounds. That's not good. Just subscribe down below to stay informed. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, share this video with anyone you know, and leave your comments down below. Already, we have just a few news stories to take a look at today, and then a little bit of a recap we are going to do today on a study that came out last week. I think it's worth showing again. And then we are going to take a look at some of our daily stuff and a whole bunch of dashboards today. What you will not see today is our normal look at the CDC wastewater dashboard. Unfortunately, it did not update, nor did the majority of things from the CDC. That's because the United States government is in a shutdown, and whatever time we do have at the end, we will take a look at some wastewater sites on Wastewater Scan after we go through a bunch of state dashboards here in the United States. All right, starting off with something a little bit different today. We've been able to include more countries lately. People have been posting it on X. I've been finding more things. This is a good thing. And Dennis, the COVID info guy, posted an update for Greece. I can't ever recall him posting this before. Fantastic. Weekly COVID update for September 22nd through to September 28th, 2025. This is up to week 39. Unfortunately, the positivity rate did increase, but there's some good news. No new deaths in week 39. And it says from 2024 to week 1 to week 39, 2025, 406 deaths have been reported. The variants there are the LP.8.1 variant, NB.1.8.1, and XFG. The NB.1.8.1 and XFG are the main variants that are going around in the world right now. Of course, XFG is the dominating variant here in the United States, and in Greece, wastewater levels at this time remain moderate. Now, moving on to this next story about eggs being recalled after nearly 100 illnesses issued. Ooh, this is not good. Highest risk warning. Yeah, eggs are being recalled. It is the Country Eggs LLC has recalled its large brown cage-free eggs distributed in California and Nevada after people fell ill in a multi-state salmonella outbreak. So this is not good. Of course, the FDA is on this, and unfortunately, 100 people have gotten sick. So if you think you may have bought those eggs or have those eggs, you might want to look into that. You may want to consider getting rid of those eggs. All right, before we move on, let's pause and take a sip of coffee. It's Sunday morning. Go grab yourself a cup of coffee. Pause the video if you have to. You can come back. It'll always be there. Alrighty, doesn't that taste good? Alright, moving on now to this in Singapore. 44 fall ill in suspected norovirus outbreak at 2 Singapore preschools. Yeah, norovirus is starting to increase in circulation now. It's getting to be that time of year once again. And as of October 5th, at least 44 people, including 34 children, have fallen ill with symptoms of norovirus. And unfortunately, it looks like this is the preschool age. So, yeah, not a good thing whatsoever. Alrighty, don't have much news, but I do got to show you this. I guess you could say this is news. I went to Neshaminy State Park here in Southeast PA. It's over in Bensalem Township, over by Delaware River. That's actually the reason why I went there, to do a little fishing. Didn't catch anything yesterday, if you're wondering, but saw this. And I'm starting to see this at most state parks in Pennsylvania, or at least most that I've been to in the past several months, which I think would be 3 or 4. I don't even remember now. But take a look at this. Attention! Bird flu outbreak. Watch wildlife from a distance. Avoid contact with bird feces. Don't feed or handle wildlife. So I think this is just general, public information that they're putting up there. I don't know that that particular park is dealing with a bird flu outbreak. I haven't heard of anything. I haven't seen anything on the news, but interesting to see that they are alerting of the potential for bird flu. All right, moving over to the website now. Of course, getting rid of that ad. And take a look here. We'll take a look at the tracking threads. There have been several updates to the tracking threads in the past week. More sports players have fallen ill, tuberculosis cases, school illness cases. Some of them go hand in hand with TB. TB cases have been popping up with school-age students who attend schools, and sports illnesses. That's really been our most popular thread here on the website. I mean, I guess, I don't know, if you Google search sports illnesses, I think I did find. We actually come up now, which is really interesting. So maybe it is you follow sports heavily. Go check that out. There's a new one that I need to add in there, an updated one. In fact, it may go to the COVID positive archive. A basketball player just had COVID during the preseason. And it's been at least a week since he's been positive, and now he's coming back, but he says, it really did a number on his body, and he's not feeling 100%, so that is not good. Of course, the tracking threads on my website, datareport.info. You can track measles, sports illnesses, a whole bunch of different things. Staying with the website for just a second, we got to take a look at a study that came out this past week. Or at least, I thought it came out this past week. I did have a news story queued up, but then I saw it said back in April of 2025. But you recall, we talked about this the other day. Second COVID-19 infection doubles risk of long COVID in children, study finds. This was a huge study, over 400,000 participants. This just goes to show you, this is just in kids. If you get infected a second time, it can go on to cause problems for children. And here we go. We send kids into classrooms, no air ventilation whatsoever, no masking at this point. It is just totally ridiculous how many kids get reinfected, and it goes on to cause problems. Then we see all these studies saying, there's been no recovery from the start of COVID in terms of testing scores, kids' ability to learn are having problems. We see all these different things popping up. Hello, COVID-19. Take a look at this study. Yes, the risk of developing, problems after second infection does go up significantly. It doubles. So could that be a part of the problem? And I hate to say it, it's very sad. Many kids, we're talking about anywhere from toddlers all the way up to 18 years old, have had more than one infection at this point, especially the older kids. So, yes, they very well could be dealing with problems. Hey, if you're a teacher and you're watching my video right now, let me know down below. Do you notice that your kids are often tired in your classroom? Do you often notice that they're having trouble with the ability to focus? That's all something that can be a problem post-COVID. All right, moving on now, taking a look at what is going on in the UK. The UK had weekly COVID cases go up. It was 2,459, up by 447. Deaths, 82. We also want to take a look at what is going on with the influenza positivity rate, if it updated. And I am seeing it says here, September 15th, 2025, there was a little bit of an increase back in August. Then that dropped. The positivity rate is 1.27%. Also taking a look at what is going on with RSV. Obviously, you can see here, COVID positivity rate continues to rise over in the UK. And we do see the RSV positivity rate is almost up to 0.5% now. So it's starting to increase a little bit. Last year, it peaked at 15.7%. I definitely think by the time we get into, when is that, November, we'll be talking about higher positivity rates. So we're going to be watching this going down the line. All right, moving back here to the United States, where we'll be staying in the United States probably for the rest of this video, taking a look at what is going on with air qualities. And while we wait for this to load, let's have another sip of coffee, shall we? Alrighty, you can see air qualities are still generally poor in the east of the Mississippi. Mainly yellows, a few oranges, a few darker oranges, and still some yellows on the west coast as well. Be careful if you're someone who has asthma, COPD, or any other breathing problem. Maybe you currently have COVID. Be very careful in these areas. Taking a look at what's going on in Florida, we see just a few EMS calls at this time. Philadelphia on Friday had 858 EMS incidents reported. Taking a live look at the suburbs of Philadelphia, this is Montgomery County. We do see respiratory emergency showing up a few times. Again, air qualities are not the best here today. We do see stroke showing up twice. That's not a good thing. In Chester County, Pennsylvania, what's going on there? And yeah, several calls. Back pain, falls, and lift assist seem to be the most common one being seen, but we also see a mixture of other things. Respiratory emergency, unresponsive person. So that's not a good thing whatsoever. Skipping over, we'll look at the Pennsylvania wastewater dashboard for a moment, and you can see here, again, there's that issue going on here. It's showing that it's dropping, but meanwhile, it was rising. Yeah, let's refresh this. I don't know what is going on. Why is it even showing very low now? Just a few weeks ago, it was showing moderate in Pennsylvania. And yeah, now it's coming up as very low. So that is definitely a development from the last update. Again, remember this updated on Saturday, October 4th. So it actually updated over the weekend. Yeah, I'm not understanding it whatsoever. It just continues to drop and drop. Let's click on some of these wastewater sites just to take a look real quickly. Yeah, we can see here there's just this huge gap in the data. I don't know what's going on. Let's go somewhere in southeast Pennsylvania. This is Abington Township. Now, this township actually went upward a little bit. I don't know. If we had incomplete data, maybe I would believe that the state is very low, but because there's no incomplete data, I really cannot trust that. Taking a look at what's going on with the hospital situation in Pennsylvania, and it shows things are not that bad at this time. Quickly taking a look at New Jersey, and we can see New Jersey's hospitalization, all fine. Everything is normal at this time. Not looking at the New Jersey dashboard. Here it is. Here's why we're not going to read any of this. Of course, it's refreshing. Hasn't updated since the 24th. You can see that right there. So it's behind. Some states have not updated, but quite a few have. On Friday in New York State, they reported 681 new cases of COVID, and the hospitalizations, though overall for the week, were dropping a little bit higher on Friday, 451 and 45 people in the ICU. All right, continuing with all these state dashboards, taking a look at what is going on in Massachusetts. And Massachusetts is not doing too bad. Yes, they're still elevated for COVID, but it looks to be that their levels are starting to drop at this time. And flu and RSV, not a big issue yet, but I'm concerned about New England. This weekend, next weekend, really last week into this week is leaf peeping season. Of course, Columbus Day weekend next weekend, although for Mother Nature reasons, because there's a drought in the Northeast, the leaves may be dropping really soon. The peak may actually be now up there versus Columbus Day weekend, so it's probably very crowded up there. That could lead to the risk of spread of COVID, flu, norovirus, RSV. All those viruses really could get going. Of course, COVID has peaked. It could just add some extra transmission, but it could be what gets things going for the other viruses, as it's cooler up there now, and some of these small resort towns get super packed with people for what is this? Leaf peeping season. I talked to a relative that lives in Vermont, and they live in a resort town, and they said it's just absolutely jam-packed with people this weekend, so that is not a good thing. Taking a look at this, in Ohio, can't really look at much of the numbers there. Oh, we can, and we see that everything is still fine, but when we look at outbreaks, which we did not do this week, we do see that there are some respiratory outbreaks in Northeast Ohio, Northern Ohio, Central Ohio, Northeast Ohio, look at this, 14 and 16, Northeast Central 16, Northwest 14 respiratory outbreaks, Columbus, which is Central Ohio, 14 outbreaks, West Central, 10 virus outbreaks there, so that's not good. A little bit of good news now. The positivity rate in Chicago, Illinois for COVID has leveled off at 5.7%. Everything else is still minimal at this time. And when we take a look at what's going on with wastewater, we do see wastewater for COVID is dropping. RSV at this time is still very low. Influenza A, taking a look at that, yeah, it's up a little bit, but it's still in the low category. So that is some good news at this time. And influenza B, we'll look at it. Yeah, not much of an issue at this time. All right, moving on to eastern Jackson County, Missouri. We first showed this last week, and it looks like everything here at this time is in the green and dropping. So if you're in that area, things, for the moment, are okay. You're getting a little bit of a break. Taking a look at what's going on in the state of Washington, and we do see COVID in the state of Washington has peaked and is starting to drop at this time. Taking a look at influenza, no real bumps there just yet, unlike your neighbor far up to the north up there in Alaska that did see some influenza in the summertime, and RSV is still okay at this time. Taking a look at what's going on in the state of Oregon, and let's take a look at what's going on with wastewater there, if we can. Hoping we can get this to, let's click on COVID, shall we? If we can't get this to load, I apologize. There we go. And we do see there are still a few wastewater sites that are rising. Of course, we do also note a lot of them that are, quote, discontinued. Yeah, that's not a good thing whatsoever. And we do see a lot of places are at a plateau at this time as well. Going back to wastewater, can we take a look at some of the other viruses? Because it is getting to be that time of year. We need to start taking a look more closely at influenza and RSV. And yeah, it doesn't look like this is really updating. So we're just going to move on to our next piece of information. And that is San Diego, California. Where at this time, we need to refresh this. Where San Diego, California is, let's see, now why is this showing a rise? Yeah, September 6th. But this over here on the right shows September 22nd. COVID positivity rate is dropping now in San Diego. That actually peaked at the end of August. So that is some good news. Influenza. The test positivity rate is just below 1% at this time, 0.5% for RSV. All right, continuing back north just a little bit to LA, and we can see LA, COVID-like illness or influenza-like illness is 3.30% of the emergency department visits at this time. So still a little elevated. Need that to come down. Going to Texas now, where we do see some problems. Of course, first off, COVID emergency department visits are dropping. We're seeing an increase there for influenza, increase for RSV, hospitalizations, influenza starting to increase, COVID-19 decreasing, and deaths. COVID-19 is increasing. Hey, influenza is listed as an increase. That could just be 1 or 2 deaths. I don't think they have very many just yet. But, the southern states tend to see influenza and RSV go up first. Though, with that said, as mentioned, Alaska, which is way up to the north, did see an increase early, which is highly unusual. I've asked about that. Several people have told me that is highly unusual. In Mississippi, looks like things are still dropping at this time. Not seeing the influenza rise, at least not this, for influenza-like illness. Not seeing that rise just yet. You can see ILI, it's this orange line, still going down. COVID-like illness is also dropping. Good news. We'll take the good news where we can get it. And in not Pinellas County, I'm so used to showing Pinellas County, Florida. In Orange County, Florida, Orlando, COVID is dropping at this time. Norovirus, look at Southwest Orange County. Norovirus is just rapidly rising at this time. That's not good. And finally, now in South Carolina, everything is doing okay. COVID still elevated, but it is dropping at this time. Alrighty, let's take a look at some wastewater in the United States. And I think the way we'll do this, let's see, we've gone 19 minutes here. We will do one wastewater site for each region of the United States. So we talked about leaf peeping up in New England. Let's stay with that theme. Let's see what's going on in Montpelier, Vermont. And we are going to look at all the viruses. You can see COVID still elevated at medium levels. RSV is low, influenza A is low, influenza B is still low, HMPV is low, EVD68 is low, norovirus is medium, and it does look like it is rising on the most recent week, seeing some rising, and that data goes up to September 30th. Everything else is fine at this time. Let's go down to somewhere in the south now. I'm seeing some oranges here in Atlanta. Let's see what that's all about. Roswell, Georgia, still elevated for COVID, still listed at high, even though you're down from your peak. RSV is low at this time. Influenza A is low. Influenza B is low. HMPV is low. EVD68 is low. Everything else is fine at this time in that portion of Atlanta. That's just north of downtown Atlanta. Let's go out to the West Coast. Let's see what Las Vegas is doing, shall we? And in Las Vegas, COVID is listed at medium at this time. Everything else seems to be okay. We do see some hepatitis detections back in August, and there was that measles detection back in August as well. And now making our way to the Midwest, I think we will take a look at Michigan. Look at this. We still have several high wastewater sites for COVID in Michigan. Yeah, that's not a good thing. What's going on in Traverse City? Are we still seeing the problems there? What is COVID doing there? COVID's still elevated, and it's only dropping slightly. Influenza A, look at that. Though it's low, it is showing signs of starting to rise. Norovirus is still rising here. Measles, finally, you've gone about over a month now. Probably more than that. Yeah, since August 18th, since any detections of measles. That is some fantastic news. Plus, we do have September 2nd. There was a detection of hepatitis A in this area. Alrighty, folks, that does it for the Sunday Wastewater Update, Sunday edition of the Virus Update. If you enjoy it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below, hit that notification bell, share this video with anyone you know, and of course, leave your comments down below. We will have another update again tomorrow, but I gotta tell you, I think tomorrow is going to be one of those out in the wild updates. Kind of a weird day for me. I go for my annual pulmonary function test tomorrow for my doctor. My pulmonary doctor. It's about 40 minutes northwest of here. So I'm thinking it's 10 o'clock in the morning. I also got to do some work tomorrow. So I'm thinking we're going to go out in the wild with some notes. We'll probably have the BNO update. Maybe I'll find some other news stories and a few other things. And I'll, make a printout of notes. We'll read that and maybe have a discussion about something. And that will be tomorrow's video. So until I see you again tomorrow, stay safe, everyone. And have a fantastic Sunday afternoon. Thanks for watching.